Hello, and welcome to UU Wellspring for Spiritual Companions. My name is Linnea Nelson, and I am the Executive Director of UU Wellspring. You were probably sent to this video by someone who's invited you to be their spiritual companion for this year while they are taking UU Wellspring. I wanted to make sure that you knew a little bit about UU Wellspring, and so I will share that here, as well as what does it mean to be a spiritual companion. Your role would be primarily to be a listener. And when you hear more about the program and more about the role, I'd like you to keep that in mind that you are a listener first. And to companion a UU Wellspring participant means to meet with them, maybe for an hour, and listen. We'll give you some other tips too, but that really is the key. Our program is about 10 months long, often from September to June, but it can be a different combination of months. And when you work with someone as a spiritual companion or volunteer your time, you do want to have a bit of a commitment of how long you're going to work together at a minimum so that you know you have the time to really sink into that relationship. Some folks don't start until halfway through the program, and so maybe it will be a shorter amount of time, or maybe the relationship as a spiritual companion and mentee will continue after the program is over. I'd like to read to you a poem by Jean M. Olson to help you understand what it is that we're bringing forward in this process of spiritual companioning. It is a vulnerable process. It can be a very deep process where I like to look at it as kind of peeling an onion. People are slowly and surely going into themselves, but also recognizing who they are while being in the community that they're in. So this is what I also read to our facilitators who are facilitating UU Wellspring groups. Go boldly. May you be brave enough to expose your aching woundedness and reveal your vulnerability. May you speak your deepest truths, knowing that they will change as you do. May you sing the music within you, composing your own melody, playing your song with all your heart. May you draw, paint, sculpt, and sew, showing the world your vision. May you write letters, poetry, biography, slogans, graffiti, the great novel, laying bare your words of love and hate. May you love even though your heart breaks again and again. And until the end of your days, may your life be filled with possibilities and courage. So we do all of this in UU Wellspring and also happens in the listening sessions that you might be having with someone. Over the course of this year, we really are answering the question that the poet Mary Oliver poses. What will you do with this wild and precious life? So UU Wellspring has developed over the past 15 years, starting out in Rochester at the UU congregation there, moving to Minneapolis with its creator, Reverend Jen Crow, and is now in over 40 congregations and is online as well. And I'll tell you a little bit about that program soon. There are various layers of UU Wellspring. We come together in small groups of about 10 people. We encourage a daily spiritual practice. We encourage being with a spiritual companion outside of the group at least once a month. We make sure that there's an understanding of UU history and theology. And then we take all those experiences and we try to put that UU faith that we are developing into action. And that's our call to justice. As a spiritual companion, you may find that reading some books might be helpful. We recommend The Sacred Art of Listening by Kay Lindell. And she actually has, she's the founder of the Listening Center. So there's a lot of good information there. Spiritual companions is one name that is used for spiritual directors, Spiritual guide. Some people say spiritual advisor. We say spiritual companion as an umbrella. Now, most of the people who consider themselves spiritual directors or guides or advisors have gone through a training program, have received a certificate. Perhaps they're ministers and have done some extra work in this area. But a spiritual director is usually a paid person who meets monthly with someone and has a lot of tools that they've developed over time and experience and from their training programs to help someone on their spiritual journey. If you are a friend, or perhaps you are a colleague, and you do have some skills already in deep listening, that's wonderful. That's probably why the person asked you to be their spiritual companion. Uh, when you are just invited to be someone who will listen, ask a few questions during the course of the hour, usually there's no change of money. It's often, if you are a friend, it can be very difficult to not have a back and forth conversation, because that's not what spiritual direction is. It is all about the person who has come to you and asked you to listen. And so that may be challenging. You might want to give it a try, see how it goes. Read some books like Sacred Art of Listening, read some meditation books. You might want to start a session by just lighting a chalice or reading a short reading that you think might be helpful, or perhaps your directee will bring a reading they want to share. Maybe you want to have a little bit of silence, meditation together, and then see what unfolds. Um, I would say that it's very important that you are ethical about all of this, because people will share very deeply. So you want to have an understanding about confidentiality. We encourage people to find spiritual companions who will listen, who are also part of a covenanted group of professionals whenever possible. But sometimes that's not the case. And if that's you, just we encourage you to have frank and open conversations about what confidentiality means in your uh, experience with this other person. There are two places that we encourage folks to go to find certified spiritual directors. And I encourage you to go to them just to learn what a spiritual director is, and to know that you're not becoming a spiritual director by being a holy listener. Being a companion doesn't make you a spiritual director overnight. There really are some deep foundational learnings that need to happen to be able to be a spiritual director to lots of people. But you can be a spiritual friend, of course. So take a look at websites on Unitarian Universalist Spiritual Directors Network, and you can look up Spiritual Directors International, and you will find lots of information about what the professional folks are doing. Not to emulate it or model it necessarily, but to know what the range is of spiritual companioning. Here are some other books that we use in the program. And many of the insight meditation books from Skinner House Books are very helpful in finding readings that will both sustain you, as well as readings that you might want to bring to a session with a spiritual friend. We have many programs. The first one is Sources, and most likely, if you are a spiritual friend or companion, you may be companioning someone as they go through our Sources program. So you might want to become familiar with the UUA sources. These are the topics that will be studied and experienced. And you can take a look at our website, and you'll find more information there about what's happening in the program. But they may or may not want to talk about what they're doing in the program. They may just more want to talk about their spiritual lives. And so it's not necessary for you to know the program inside and out in order to be able to be a spiritual companion. We do have an online program, and if you're thinking, this sounds kind of interesting, I might want to do it too. We do have some lay groups that meet online, and individuals can sign up for them. And so if you're interested in that, go to our website or just contact me. I'll be sharing my email shortly, but it's director@uuwellspring.org. We also encourage you as a spiritual friend to make sure that you have um, an understanding of cultural, race, ethnic differences between you and your companion. understanding gender, having a sensitivity to all of these things, these intersectional identities, can be very important to make sure that you're holding them in this sacred space. I do like to call it holy listening because you are creating this sacred space for people to share some of their deepest longings and yearnings with you. When you meet, it's usually one on one in a quiet place where you won't be disturbed. For now, we're all meeting online. And so finding a place where you can ask a few questions. Some of the readings might prompt some questions. But if you listen and ask a question that helps the person move a little deeper, not away from their ideas, but deeper into their ideas, that will be very helpful to them. But you can contact me at director@uuwellspring.org at any time if you have questions. We'd love to have you join the program as well, as I think that will give you the deepest understanding of what it might mean to be on a spiritual journey. Thank you.